What's up, world? I always get gas when that intro plays. My name's John Harry. I am your host of the Super Investors Show. And today, our guest is another friend of mine, but he's someone who helps people at all parts of their journey, especially at the beginning, which I always say, as an investor, it's sometimes hard to remember what it was like when you didn't know. So it's a true mastery of a skill set to be able to pass on something so abstract like investing, especially in crypto, to people at the beginning of their journey. And with that comes great empathy. And that is something that Dean has as he discusses his power of being early. So without further ado, I can't do this alone. I'm going to bring up today's guest, Dean from We Coach Crypto.
How you doing, guys? Jordan, how you doing, my friend? How you keeping?
I'm doing marvelous, man. All the house duties are done today, so we can relax and we can have fun on today's show. So, Dean, the first question I'll ask you, because I know you, but some people watching may not. How would you define Dean?
Um, how would I define Dean? God, you got me there straight away on a Monday morning. How would I define Dean? Um, I'm just an easygoing guy. I'm an investor. Got a family. I'm a loving guy. A family guy. You know, I'm very easygoing. Really, I'm just a crypto investor that's just looking to kind of build my knowledge, moving forward. I've got a lot of experience in the kind of the macro side of things. That's where I kind of took my studies first, trying to understand the banking system, how the monetary system worked. Going back about 5 years ago now, which led me, well, probably longer than that, about 6 years ago, which led me quite quickly into crypto, into Bitcoin, into all these different types of cryptocurrencies, blockchain technology, where we're going as a system. And from there, I've kind of built up my knowledge and built up a business called We Coach Crypto. And that's kind of me all rounded, really.
And I know for a fact that humbleness that comes off on camera right now, it's the same on and off camera. He's not just humble because he's on camera. I really mean it. Like, Dean, you have time for everyone and anyone. So thank you for being with us today, buddy.
Appreciate it. No, thank you for having me.
If I mention it, don't mention it. So if it is your first time watching the show, you'll look at people like Dean, who's a super investor for good reason, but he is just human. But the only way we can find out he's human is by asking two questions. Number one, what's your superpower? And number two, what's your weakness? So, Dean, we'll start with the first one. What is your superpower?
I believe my superpower is something that I've built upon over time. It's something that it's taken me a long time to understand where my strengths are, where my weaknesses are, and I'll never go on to weaknesses next. But from a superpower, it's took me a long time to realise that I've got a knack for this side of things. I've got a knack for this. I've got a knack for that, and I'm not so good at this. So my superpower, I'd say, is kind of identifying trends, identifying cycles. I wouldn't say kind of smaller like year cycles, longer term cycles. How the monetary system's working, where we're moving into long term, and how to capitalize. Really, where is everything going? How do we get involved, and what where do we get involved? How do we start? As you know, just from probably your journey as well, things are a lot different now to what they were a year, 2 years ago in terms of knowledge that was out there, in terms of how to use certain exchanges and platforms and the information that's out there. Back when I started investing in cryptocurrency, it was a lot. I found it, well, obviously because I knew it was a lot harder, but it was just the information wasn't out there. It was very vague. So I've built up a good understanding of now how to get into crypto, how to build a portfolio, how to kind of navigate your way around all the problems you have, like setting up a ledger. And I find that problems still massively out there. That's why we've created a business called We Coach Crypto, so we could share the struggles we went through in order to help other people. And obviously, from strength to strength, our business has grown because we've got to remember our market is still very small, the crypto market, in comparison to how many people are still outside of this arena waiting to get in. But the problem they've got is that kind of transition of how do I start? What exchange do I use? What fees? What trading pairs? How do I earn money? How do I on ramp? How do I off ramp? The simple things that we find every day is very easy. I find my superpowers is relaying that back to people that need that information, how we can help them. Because at the end of the day, people say, why do we help? We all need to help to grow this industry, because if it's just us lot that's in here and the crypto market as it currently stands is just in here, it's never going to grow. We need to be bringing fresh faces into the market, fresh people into the market. But in order to do that, we have a responsibility to train these people, to educate these people, to help these people. Especially with the mistakes I've made. I've lost so much money. I'm not going to sit here and say I've got everything right, because I've lost a lot of money through stupid mistakes, just not paying attention, or even not having the information there that's valid. So, my superpower as well, I'd say, is finding opportunities. In the last run up, I got into a lot of cryptos that have done me very well, shall I say? Could I have got out a little bit sooner? Yes, I could. Did I know the top was where it was? No, I got out I've done pretty well, but could I have done better? Yes, 100%. I'm sure a lot of other investors would know that. It's one thing I would say to people is profit's profit at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it's no point sitting in something if the price is going to go up and down, up and down, up and down. You get to 68k Bitcoin, then you get back down to 20. It's always good to take profit out of the market and allocate it in other places, or just sit in cash. So that's probably one of my weaknesses. But superpowers, I'd say, would be identifying projects that I believe that I'm going to do well and have materialized into doing well.
And what's so difficult about being early, at least I know you and I agree, and I feel a couple more people watching will, is when you say, hey, this is what I believe in.
Yeah.
What you're then doing, and this is why I think so many people struggle by saying their goals out loud, is because now you have a measure for both success, but also a measure for failure. Because if you say, hey, I'm getting in early into this project that's 1 cent, because I believe it can go to $10, well, what you're now saying publicly is, hey, if it doesn't go to $10, I failed. And I feel that innate feeling people get from the gotcha culture. So you said that a year ago and it didn't happen. Gotcha. Stops people from, one, saying their goals out loud, but also two, Dean, getting in before it's actually happened.
Yeah.
If I can ask you, buddy, how have you managed to control that feeling of not knowing the future, but confidently sitting here and saying, I believe in this? How do you wake up every single day, even though crypto hasn't become what we know it's going to become yet?
Faith. It really is faith in where we're going. Because if I'm not confident in myself, then who can I be confident in? I'm the only one that can control what I'm doing. I'm the only person that can make my decisions. So I have to be full in on my decisions and go, okay, well, you know what? Some of them are going to crash and burn, but you know what? We're here tomorrow. We're going to wake up tomorrow and we've got another go at it. We're going to wake up the day after and we've got another go at it. We're here. We're all living. Do you get what I mean? Mm-hmm. Some days are going to be fantastic. Some months are going to be fantastic. Then other months ain't going to be so good. And it's all part of the journey of understanding how to invest and how to get into an early market. When you go back and you'd say to people, how many people you see so many of these posts that come up, this guy got in at Bitcoin at 11 cents or he got in at 12 cents. Just imagine how that guy was thinking, because no one was talking about Bitcoin at $2, at $10, at $20. It was all, it's a scam. It's never going to go anywhere. And that was happening for years. So the conviction that person must have had to get in at that point and sit there and go through all of that. No, it's not going anywhere for 2 years. And probably having 20,000, 30,000 pounds in there, which would be a lot of dollars, would be a lot of money now. But look at what they'd had to go through just to get to this point now. And that was 10 years ago.
And you're just, sorry to jump in, buddy, you're just focusing on the price action over that time. What we have to realize, what you said at the beginning, and I'm big into philosophy, is life is still happening during those 2, 5, 10 years. So you may have very well got in, let's say 10 years ago. However, between then and now, you would have potentially got married, you potentially would have needed to buy a home, you potentially would have had to pay off a credit card, lost your job. So it's not just a case of, like I say, your faith in it going there. It's also, how on earth do you hold on to this asset whilst life is still happening? How have you managed, Dean, with life happening to you? Because like you said, good, difficult, challenging times. During challenging times, when you look at your portfolio and you're like, oh, if I sell this now, it will help with my current situation. I know you
Um,
can't give financial advice per se, but how have you managed to overcome life challenges?
I'm a lot better at it now than what I was when I originally got in.
Mm.
We're talking back about 2017 when I really started getting into it, and I invested a lot of money. Well, for me, it was a lot of money, and the whole market came down. There was loads of ICOs that went crashing down. I fell victim to a few of them. It cost me a lot of money.
What's an ICO? Sorry, just conscious some people might not know.
Initial coin offering. So it's just when you're getting in before everybody else, before it's listed onto an exchange. You're buying directly off the project themselves, and you get a much better rate on the token or coin that you're getting. So really, you're kind of like a seed investor. You're seed investing into the project to help them fund a great idea or a great plan. But then the great idea and great plan that I was looking at, was my reading of that plan not very good? Did it not make sense to me? Because everything was blowing up then. So I thought, yeah, well, this is going to make money. This is going to make money. This is going to make money. And 9 times out of 10, a lot of the projects that come out now haven't got no utility. They have got no use case, but it's just hype. So going back to your question, how did I deal with it? Now I only buy quality stuff. I've got a very thick process of going through a particular cryptocurrency or investment that I'm going to go into, and it's got
Can
to
you
be
just
something.
give us maybe 3 of those points? I know you can't give us all the secrets.
Well, okay. It's got to be, first of all, who are the team? So go into the team, look at who the team are. Okay, what their background is. Okay, that's one of them. Have they had any previous experience, or is it just a guy that says he's doxed and all his developers have got no experience, or they've got no track record? So it's track record, and when I mean team, like even who's an ambassador for it? Is it someone that's part of a multi-billion-pound fund that's gone, well, I'm going to put my name on it because I believe in this and we're going to back it as well? So that's one of them. What does a roadmap look like? What are they doing? What are they trying to tick off? And what have they currently ticked off already? So if they said they've started here, they've started there, and they're and we're 2 years on, have they ticked all the things that they said they're going to do? Because that's going to give you a good indication that they're probably going to carry on, or they just took people's money. So that's one of them. Another one is the utility. Like, what problem are they solving? Is there an actual real problem they've got to solve? So let's talk about XRP just quickly. They're solving a problem. That's why I'm an investor in XRP, because they are solving a problem, not because everybody's going crazy on Twitter and you're seeing so many YouTube videos. Are they actually solving a problem? Look at their partnerships. Look at the people they're dealing with. Look at what Brad Gardenhouse is doing. Like, he does a lot more action than just talking, where in comparison to a lot of these projects, do a lot more talking and the action doesn't seem to follow. Do you understand what I mean? So there's some of the pointers I'd look at. Even if a coin's been around for a while, what exchanges is it on? Looking at what the tokenomics are. These little things about, and like yourself, it takes time to understand. This is not something that you grasp straight away, because all you're doing is you're looking at, I think a lot of investors, when they get into this market, they're looking at what's hot, what's trending, what's blown up, what's had a 3,000% gain in the last 2 weeks or a month, and everybody's tweeting it, or they're hashtagging it or something. And that's not the way. I don't think. I've seen a lot of people get murdered on SafeMoon, Shiba Inu, you name it. Do you get what I mean? So, but would I, if I invest in Shiba Inu, is it something I want to hold? No, it isn't. Yes, I like the gains off it, but it's not something I'm interested in holding. I can put to bed and go, do you know what? If it don't do anything for 2 years, then fine. But because I know what they're doing, they're building an actual infrastructure that is going to benefit, us as humans and society in the future. So that's what I look for. I look for quality projects that have got a backbone behind them, shall I say.
Thank you for that checklisting, because it's always good, even for myself, where almost, as I said at the beginning, people who have been here for some time, we forget what it was like to be a beginner, and we develop bad habits. The final question that I want to ask you on your superpower, which is all the time people say, do your own research. But the difficult thing is where. So to give you an example, I believe Twitter is one of the most powerful tools if you use it correctly. And the way I use it is I find someone that I respect in a space, I see who are they following, and then I literally experiment. And I follow a few of the people that they're following for a couple of weeks. And if they're not producing as much quality, I remove them. So how, Dean, do you identify projects early?
Okay, normally how it happens is I'll hear about, quite similar to what you're saying. I will, before I invest in it, because it's not about, oh, I've seen a project, I need to get into it now. Is I'll look at who's following the project, I'll look at who's speaking about the project, and then what I'll do is I'll go off and look at the project myself. I'll jump into their Telegram, I'll jump into their chat, I'll go onto their website, I'll see what they're doing, I'll see what exchanges they're listed on. Then I'll just follow it. It'll be on my radar, it'll be on my piece of paper, pinned onto my wall, just to monitor it. Okay, I'll go on to, I'll add them onto Twitter, I'll find out what they're doing, and I'll see what kind of traction they're building, and seeing, are they doing what they're saying they're going to do? Are they getting more listings? Are they going on to new exchanges? Are they fulfilling that roadmap? And then I'll take an approach on how much, and so how much and how many coins, or how much money I'm going to invest into that particular project. That's kind of the way I do it. I get it onto my radar, and then I follow it for a while, and I'll see, are they producing what they're saying they're going to produce? And then if so, yeah, I will invest in that project. If not, then no, I'll move on to the next one. I've got a list of next ones already on my wall that I'm looking at. It's never ending, as you probably have as well.
I don't anymore, Dean, and personally only because I've chosen my winners for now. But what I've done, Dean, is I've got where am I moving my profits into next? So, for example, XRP and HBAR, in my opinion, they're going to be my lottery tickets, right? Okay. And so, out of 20 assets, those two is where 70 to 80% of my investment has gone, fiat position. But now, Dean, similar to you, Algo and XLM, they're my next ones. Meaning, when XRP and HBAR take off, that's my hypothesis, I need to rotate those profits
into the next ones.
Yeah, exactly. The process doesn't end. So I'm now attending the Stellar Conference in Rome. Why? Because I want to make sure that when I do have multi-millions and I want to put $250,000 into XLM, it's not going off what a Twitter influencer said. It's going off because I've met the team in Rome 2 years ago and I've seen where they've come from. So we're on the same path, and it reassures me that I'm doing the right thing, and hopefully people at home are.
And it's looking at what other large investors are getting involved. Is a hedge fund getting involved? Because we've got to look at indicators here, and the indicators will tell you roughly where we're going to go, or they give you kind of a path of where we're going to go. So, is BlackRock getting involved, or is some of the bigger crypto funds getting involved? Because the due diligence they do is probably at a lot higher level than what we do, and it's probably they've got tens, if not hundreds of researchers working for them day and night, going through every nook and cranny, should I say, before they actually position their capital into a crypto. So I look at who else is invested in there as well, which is a good telltale sign, because you see a lot of these meme coins, you won't see any hedge funds or any large crypto capital companies get involved with them, and there's a reason why, because it's too risky. So yeah,
100%. Now, it's a beautiful segue into your weakness, because we talk about now timing of when to get in. And I say with a smile on my face, because we've all got a story. If you've been in here for almost a year, we've all got a story. So, Dean, what is your weakness when it comes to investing?
I've got a lot. So I'll be honest with you, we're always trying to progress. So one of my major weaknesses, I FOMO in too much. And even though still a six-year-old investor, and this is just personally me, I sometimes FOMO in too much. Not so much now, before, but it's just like when there's I don't know if you call it FOMO. I just think there's too many opportunities out there, and like I know you've only gone on to a few, but there's too many opportunities out there where should I get into this coin? Should I get into that coin? Should I get into this coin? Should I get into this crypto? Should I get into that crypto? And there is still there's not just 2 or 3 projects that are going to do really well. There's still a good, I reckon, 50 plus projects that are all in different areas. You've got gaming, metaverse, storage, payments. There's so many different sections and segments within this whole infrastructure that I believe is still going to do very, very well. So that's where I find some of my weaknesses. I get dragged away into too many areas. So that's one of my weaknesses. Another weakness is, just trying to think of them now. I have got quite a few, but I'm just trying to think of one that's working.
First one, that's for sure, because there's a lot we can unpack with that first one. So knowing that you're already aware that you have a tendency to FOMO in, how do you manage it now, Dean?
How do I manage it now? How do I manage it now? I look at it and I think, right, if I've spent so much time researching a project, instead of being in 20 projects, I'm going to double down on the ones that I've got. Just like you said, I've doubled down on the ones that I've got, and make sure I'm building strong positions in them. Because, you know, if you believe in them, then you believe in them, don't you? And you believe they're going to go somewhere and they're going to do something. So instead of trying to have 20 winners, just pick 2 or 3 and double down on them, or 4 or 5, or whatever that number is suits you. But I see so many guys, especially when they come to me, their portfolios are horrendous. They've got like I've had a guy that's on 60 projects, and like must be 40 I've never even heard of. Like they're like 1,132 on the market cap, and I'm like, this coin.
I haven't even been past the first page. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, so it's like because, like you're saying, it's so easy to get dragged away on Twitter. It is, and just I'll buy a bit of this because 2 people are talking about. I'll buy a bit of this. I'll buy a bit of that, because we're all human here and we're all trying to progress, and it's all part of learning that. People early on in their investing journey, and I think crypto is a massive culprit of this, is because gains are so big, and in a bull market they happen so quick. Everybody thinks the coins they're going to pick are going to be the ones that are going to win, and people tend to FOMO. They go, "Oh, well, have you seen SafeMoon? That just done 60,000% in 2 weeks. Well, this one's definitely going to do it as well. So let's get into this one and this one and this one." Before you know it, all your money's got into so many different coins, and you're like, "Fuck, what's happened here?" And it's hard to reverse it, and it psychologically it gets you as well, because now you're sitting on 60 coins and 40 of them have got no value at all. So it's FOMO is not a good thing. Take your time, and there's plenty of time as well. That's one thing I like to tell people. There's plenty of time. Like right now is a fantastic buying opportunity. Yes, could it drop more? 100%. Of course it can drop more, but you may be worth starting your position now. Maybe starting that position and having that liquidity sitting there going, hang on a second, if it drops another 10%, you know what, I'll use a little bit more. If it drops another 10%, I'll use a little bit more. You're not going to catch the bottom, and just like you're not going to sell at the top. If we can get somewhere in between, we're doing pretty well.
It definitely is. And hearing what you said about, pouring money into so many projects, I can't remember who told me this, but I remember the lesson, which was, if you've got £10,000 invested in crypto, that's how much money you've put in, not how much your portfolio is worth. You should only be invested in 2 to 5 projects. I was like, okay. And it kind of does make sense, because, let's take away the arbitrary number. Let's just say, cool, £100, and you put £100 across 20 different projects. Even if one does do a 100x, 1000x, it's not life-changing. So, Dean, we coach crypto without giving away too much of the secret sauce. When someone comes to you and they say, I have £10,000 to invest, do you have a black and white prescription for them by saying, yep, no?
No, it's first what we do at WeCoach. It's all about getting to know the client, making that client into family, and understanding what ticks their boxes, what they're trying to achieve. What do they already know? Some of our clients already know a lot, and they just want some extra guidance. But some people know nothing at all. So what yield are they going to get from where they're sitting, and what kind of risk tolerance do they have? Because there's no point saying, this section, and do they actually understand it? Do they actually understand what the metaverse is? Do they actually understand what play to earn is? Do they actually understand what file sharing is, what storage coins are? It's get them to understand. So it's everybody's different, and everybody's risk tolerance is different. Everybody has different times that they want it. Some people say, well, I only want to be in the market for a short period of time. Then it's very hard. Majority of people are starting to come to terms with long-term investing is the best way. Always, I believe the hedge fund strategy is, in my opinion, is the way to win. Having a long-term perspective, you can't go wrong, in my opinion. Obviously, I trade a little bit on the markets, but I'd say 80% of my, even 85, probably even 90 of my outlook is long-term, because we're so early still.
Yeah,
we're so early.
You're not wrong. And that's the dichotomy we live in, right? And at the beginning, you said, of course, there's loads of time. But at the same time, we also realized on a macro, there is a small window. We don't know how small that window is. And of course, you and I might have different hypotheses around that. You know, we could all throw out 3 years' time, all the prices will be at a price point 100x from where they are now. Probably.
100%.
But what I always find fascinating, Dean, is yes, in 3 years' time, price could be much higher, but what's happening between that 3-year period? So I would, you want to say something there, bud?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, and that's what gets you, because everybody goes, well, do you know what? I'm going to take all my money, I'm going to put it into XRP or blah 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 blah, and then in 3 years I'm going to be rich. And now you're sitting there like, well, I've got no money now. I've got no money to invest. I've got no money to. You've got to. Things don't happen that quick. You know, even though the window's getting smaller, I get it, but you still got to look at everything else in perspective. Like, you've got to look at your life. If you put every single penny you've got into crypto and then 3 years you can't do anything, then how happy are you going to be for 3 years? Especially if the coins you put your money into don't go anywhere in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I mean? I've heard so many stories of people doing stuff like that and causing themselves a great deal of mental difficulty, which is not good. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with having it when you go into crypto. There's nothing wrong with having cash on the side. 100%. There's always opportunities everywhere. If that's, you know, the way you're going to go into a few different coins. But if you're going to go into, say, 4 or 5 coins, yeah, go into 4 or 5 coins. Be very strict with yourself, but still have cash, I believe, because in case prices dip, you've got buying power. A lot of people just buy and then like, shit, the price has dropped 20%, and I could have averaged my price down. But you only learn them kind of things by making the mistakes. And that's what, do you know what I mean?
I do. And only this weekend. So I've been in crypto. Many people don't even know. I've been in crypto just over 2 years now. So I'm a baby compared to Dean. And that's why I look to Dean as a super investor. And literally only this weekend, Dean, I came across a trading bot called newcomers. Don't know if you're familiar with newcomers.
No.
Cool. We'll talk offline a little bit more about newcomers. But I had a call with Kevin Cage. Shout out to Kevin Cage, always dropping alpha on me when we speak. He said, Jordan, I'm making 1% a day, and all my friends think I'm crazy and it's a scam. And we know in crypto, 1% a day is actually quite modest, especially if you're trading. So I said to him, okay, well, I'm not a trader, Kevin. You know, mentally, I can't keep up with that. Well, he said, but Jordan, with this bot, you can dollar cost average. So what happens, Jordan, is you tell the bot, I want you to enter a trade immediately. So it enters into XRP and pound pair straight away. And you say you want it to go long. So what happens is, if it goes up by 1% in that day, or whenever, 1%, it immediately sells your position and your payout is in XRP, right? So, of course, ultimately, if you believe in XRP, that's what you want to do. But now here's the really interesting thing, Dean, and we talk about dropping loads of money and then it goes lower. So you fund your account with £200, it's about the minimum, it stays on the exchange. And you set the parameters, and I follow this strategy that every time the price falls 1.5%, it buys XRP for me. Now, for people, they're going to think that's so counterintuitive. Why would you want a bot to be putting more money in as the price starts to fall down, and then when it comes back up, it sells? But here's the even more interesting thing. As the price falls, it multiplies your position, meaning, let's say it moves down by 1%, Dean, it may put £10 in and it buys £10 worth of XRP. Let's say it moves down another 1%, it will then put £15 in. So not only is it entering you in and buying more XRP as the price falls, it's actually increasing how much money that you're putting in as it falls. And then the beautiful thing is, Dean, you can sit on your hands, and as price comes back up, it starts to sell it for you. And when it sells it for you, it comes back in XRP. I know for a lot of people that's gone over their heads, but what I'm trying to tell everyone is I've been doing what Dean said for 2 years. Here's £1,000 done. Price went lower. Literally this weekend, I'm now using technology like a trading bot to make sure I'm extracting every penny out of this digital asset called XRP. So when it's all said and done, the extra 100 XRP is worth £10,000. So I just want to share that with you, Dean. Are you using anything like that to use your cost average?
No, I work with some of our in-house traders. So but definitely, I will be definitely interested in taking a look at that 100%, because if it can help people and it works, I know if it's come from Kevin Cage, then then
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's free as well. It's
hey,
free. It's got paid versions, but you can jump on with one pair completely free, and it's secure because it connects your API to your exchange. And of course, you then tell the exchange what access you want to give it. So the bot can only perform trades for you. It can't withdraw your funds.
okay,
So yeah, I'll
very
get that
smart,
to you, and that's for sure.
brilliant. Look forward to it. I look forward to it. No,
Um,
sounds very good. But yeah, moving forward, it's where do you see the market going?
Dean, this is my show. You can't ask me questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I told you this offline as well. I've zoomed out a lot now. I'm a stoic, I'm very philosophical, and I believe that if you lower your expectations and extend your time horizon, you'll never be disappointed.
100%.
I'm listening to a lot of macroeconomists right now, and they're saying that the bottom's in. Right?
Yeah.
So hypothesis.
Yeah.
They believe that they've priced in the major recession that is coming for some countries,
Mhm.
and that ultimate pain has already been experienced, and now's the time where you start to place your bets. So that's where I'm at. But again, Dean, my bags are packed. I keep buying every day, at least my bot does. So whether we go sideways, down, or up, I'll be ready. But I know
Brilliant.
you're a little bit different. So tell the
Um,
viewers what you use.
well, for me, I just think that I don't think, and it's very hard, but I know the crypto market correlates quite, close nowadays with the stock market, the Nasdaq and the S&P and so on. So I don't believe that all the pain is kind of really been priced in on the stock market. And I can see from what I'm looking at, the housing market starting to struggle now. I can see that you know general society is starting to struggle now, and these are all of the kind of, say, opening salvos of what a recession looks like. So I don't believe that the pain has already been priced in. I don't believe everything's been priced. Just my opinion here, and I could be completely wrong here, and it's always my opinion. But I listen to quite a few smart investors as well, and it just doesn't seem like this is fully started yet. In my opinion, I believe there's a lot more pain coming up. If that happens, I do believe that the crypto market will suffer as well. So at the minute, yes, I'm still accumulating. There's no two ways I'm accumulating, because if I get this wrong, the least I've accumulated, added to the bags I've already got, I've still accumulated. But if it does come down, and if it doesn't come down, then I will buy as we're going back up. And I know we've hit a floor. That's fine. I'm happy with that, because I know the gains we're going to make moving forward is going to be brilliant. But the reason why I've opened a position, if we come down as well, then I've got potentially a lot more firepower to come down with, and start averaging that price down. But no one knows. The Federal Reserve, I believe, hold all the kind of keys here to the direction we're going in. And as you know, it's just one comment from Sir Jerome Powell that can change things very quickly, as we both know. So I believe we're on tender hooks. That's what I believe. And we'll know soon enough. I think we'll know soon enough where we're going. I think this next quarter we're moving into is going to be a difficult quarter. And I think forget crypto, just generally the economy. And I think people out there in the UK, I'm seeing it so much. I don't know if you are, but as well as reading stories and seeing protests and stuff, energy prices going up and the cost of living and food going up, I just think that this is the start of more things to come. So we'll see. But there's opportunity. There is the opportunity out there. I just think things are good. How I always thought, and how I still think now, I think a lot of money will move back into crypto. I just don't know when. I just don't think it can happen just yet. I think potentially the market's going to come down lower, and then I think money will move out of the dollar and out of the currencies into crypto. And I think precious metals will be a big one as well, and other commodities alike. JP Morgan was saying it, and I think Goldman Sachs was saying this is going to be a commodity super cycle. And you can see large companies position themselves to move into the crypto world, and you've been seeing it all last year. So I don't think they're phased by the crash of crypto. I think it's a massive opportunity for them to start really building foundations in the market, and they wouldn't be building foundations in this market if this market wasn't going anywhere. So I'm long-term mega bullish. Short-term, I don't know. I don't know, but I'm prepared, should I say. It's a difficult one. So yeah, let's see what happens. I think it's going to be an interesting 3 to 6 months.
That's a fantastic, optimistic message, but also sobering for everyone, right? So I love what you just said there, because it reminds me of a quote from one of my favorite films, The Big Short, which is where they're talking about hedge funds like BlackRock, Goldman Sachs getting in, and they're not confessing, they're bragging. And that's exactly what we're seeing now. They are bragging. They are bragging whilst the retail investor is struggling to pay their bills and they can't even execute on these prices. And they're bragging, saying, hey, now we're going to jump in. So as cynical as that may sound, it's positive if you're on the right side of that. So Dean, with that being said, sir, thank you for your time. I've learned a lot, and I know people at home have.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
We'll see you soon on the show, right?
Definitely. Thank you very much for having me. Have a great day, guys. Keep winning.
Ciao for now, Dean. Well, there we have it. Wow. That has to be the most practical interview we've had today when it comes to investing. I've shared some of my insights. Dean's shared many of his, which I'll be taking home, and we'll be speaking offline as well. Now, as we move forward to next Monday, because we are here every single Monday, time dependent based on the guests. And we have a special guest from the Haer ecosystem joining us. You never would have heard of her, but keep your eyes peeled on my Twitter and my other socials to learn more about her and the work she's doing in the Haer ecosystem. So with that being said, love to you all, your families. Have a marvelous week, and we'll see you next week. Ciao for now.